According to the dictionary, Merriam-Webster dictionary, a habit is a settled tendency or usual manner of behavior. Or, in other words, a behavior pattern acquired by frequent repetition. Basically, something that you do over and over. Now, there are great habits. For example, drinking water is an amazing habit. Exercising is a great habit too. But there are also bad habits. Habits that can affect your ability to speak in English. And I'm going to tell you 5 habits that you must stop in order to take your English to the next level. I'm Teacher Tiffany. Let's jump right in. All right, habit number 1, trying to memorize tons of vocabulary at one time, but never using them. Now, this is something that I heard a lot from my students. When I was working in South Korea, I taught thousands of students. But I remember having conversations with students about the importance of learning English vocabulary. But also, I remember students telling me, "Teacher, I'm going to learn 100 vocabulary words every day." And that used to bother me because, yes, it's good to memorize vocabulary, but you can't memorize and use 100 vocabulary words in one day. So let me explain a little bit more why this is so dangerous and why this is not a good habit to have. So here we go. First, memorizing too many words at one time results in short-term memory, not long-term memory. So again, in 1 hour, let's say you learn 25 vocabulary words. That's amazing, and maybe you can learn more. But if you never use those vocabulary words, you will forget them. Now, at that moment, maybe for that day, you'll have those words stored in your brain. But then 2 or 3 or 4 weeks later, your long-term memory will kick in and will not be able to remember the words you learned. Why? Because you learned too many words at one time. Now, another reason why this is not a good habit to have is right here. You create stress for your brain instead of peace. Here's the thing. When you're learning a language, your brain needs to be relaxed in order to take a lot of information in that can actually be used. I want you to think about a child. A parent does not sit and look at a 2-year-old child and say, "You must learn 30 words. Say them after me. Say them, say them." No, parents don't do that. I hope you guys don't do that. But what happens is the child is in a relaxed environment and just adjusts and hears what he or she is surrounded by, and then naturally takes in the words and uses them later. So again, the same for us as adults. We can learn vocabulary when we are in a peaceful state of mind and not stressed, okay? Now, don't worry, I'm going to give you the solution. So here's what you should do instead. Here we go. First, create a pattern of consistency by studying in small chunks or groups. Now, I've spoken about this in a previous video lesson, but again, let's say, for example, you say, "I'm going to learn 3 vocabulary words a day." Now, you may say, "Teacher, come on, 3 vocabulary words? That's nothing." But it is something, because 3 vocabulary words a day is not too much and also not too little. So your brain will be relaxed when you're learning the vocabulary words. And then you'll also be able to use them naturally because you're slowly building up your vocabulary and you're not stressed. But you see, 3 vocabulary words a day after 100 days will be 300 vocabulary words. Now, not just vocabulary words you know, but 300 vocabulary words that you will be able to use in real life situations. And that's the key. Developing this habit will help you learn and use what you learn. Now, another thing you can do instead of this habit, let me show you really quickly. Relax and learn based on your ability. Then build slowly. Now, I'll be honest. I have had students in the past who I just said, "You know what? You're a genius." I mean, they were super smart. And those students were able to memorize large chunks of information. I remember actually, when I was studying Korean, there was a guy that was in our class and he was from Morocco. Now, I think he was a genius because he wouldn't study, but when he took the exams, he would always get an A. It was like when he was sitting in the classroom, his brain just took everything in, even when it seemed like he wasn't paying attention. So there are going to be those students, and maybe you're one of them, who are able to really take information in and process large pieces of information. But remember, you need to study according to your ability. As you study, if you feel yourself getting stressed and frustrated when you get to that 10 vocabulary word mark, stop. Don't stress yourself out. Remember, relax, know your ability, and work according to your ability. Then, when you get comfortable, move to the next step or the next level, okay? All right, now let's move on to the second habit. Now, this is another habit that you need to stop. Saying instead of simply pausing. Let me show you what this you see what it sounds like, right? Immediately, your thoughts about me changed. Why? Because I started saying and a lot. And maybe you thought to yourself, hey, what's wrong with teacher Tiffany? Why is she saying and so much? You see, that's what you may do when you're speaking in English, when you're trying to think of something to say. And it makes you feel a bit more comfortable because there's a sound coming out of your mouth. But it's actually not a good thing. So let me tell you a little bit more about why this is not a good habit and you must stop it, okay? So first, here we go. Saying while you are speaking actually makes you look less confident. Think about it. When I started saying I started to look less confident. Now think about that. I'm your teacher and I've been teaching you for a while. But the moment I started saying or your feeling about me kind of changed a little bit, right? Because saying and really does cause those listening to you to look at you and say, maybe you're not as confident in your own ability. Okay, so don't say or stop saying and Now, another reason why this is a bad habit is because it causes the listener to doubt what you are actually saying to them. So not only do you look less confident, the person listening to you starts to doubt. Does she really know what she's saying? Does he really know what he's saying? So imagine you're in an exam. You're taking an exam and it's in English. And you're trying to figure out what to say. And you start saying, the person interviewing you will start to give you lower marks because you don't look confident and you also don't look like you're sure about what you're saying. All right. So how can you actually make a better habit? Okay. So here we go. This is what you should do instead of this habit. When you need to, simply look at the listener and pause. That's right. Just pause and let there be silence. Let me show you. I'm going to show you two examples. First, I'm going to do with and second, I'm going to pause. All right. So first, I'm going to tell you where I'm from. Hi, my name is Tiffany and I am from Maryland. And I'm an American. All right. You saw how I didn't look confident and you probably doubted what I was saying. Now the second example with pauses. Hi, I'm Tiffany and I'm from Maryland. I am American. Do you see how the feeling changed? Now I paused for a long period of time just to show you how even if you pause for a little bit longer, the person listening to you still feels like you are confident and they're not doubting what you're saying. They're actually waiting for you to continue speaking. So again, stop the habit of saying or Instead, pause and think. It'll make you look more confident. Now, another thing that you can do is right here. Ask the listener a question to give yourself time. For example, what do you think? So let's say, for example, you're having a conversation and the person asks you a question and you don't know what to say. You're having a good conversation in English and they say, hey, what's your favorite type of music? And you've never thought about that question in English. So you're not sure what to say. Well, turn the question around. You can say, great question. I want to know first, what's your favorite type of music? And as they're giving their answer, you have a little extra time to think about your own answer. Again, it's all about looking confident and giving yourself space and time to think in English. Okay? All right. Now, the third habit. This is another habit that I really want you to stop. Okay? Here's the habit. Apologizing for your English instead of just speaking. Listen, I get this all the time when I speak to you via phone call or email or in our community. Students will say, teacher, I'm so sorry for my English. I'm sorry for making a mistake. And there are a lot of apologies being made. But here's the deal. You don't have to apologize. It's okay. I know that for you, it makes you feel better to say, oh, I'm sorry. I made a mistake, or I'm not that good in English. But that's actually really bad. Let me show you why. Okay. So this is why this habit is not good. It makes people think less of you. In other words, they won't respect you as much. Now, again, this is not me. I still respect you because I'm an English teacher and I understand how difficult it is to learn English. But I'm speaking about individuals who are not English teachers, just regular English speakers. And if they start a conversation with you and the first thing you say is, oh, I'm sorry, my English is not that good, immediately their listening or their attention goes down like, oh, okay, this is not going to really be an interesting conversation. So immediately you put your insecurity out there and the person starts to think that your words aren't going to be that important. Don't do that. Please stop this. I really want you to stop this habit. Now, here's another reason why it can be dangerous. All right. Here's the other reason. It lessens the impact of your words. In other words, people will doubt that your words are true. So if you start off by saying, I'm sorry, my English is really not that good, and then you start to tell me about some article you read, in the back of my mind, again, hypothetically, I may be thinking, did she really read that article because she just said her English is not that good? How did she understand that article? Aren't there difficult words in that article? You see, naturally the brain starts to process information based on what you said. If you said, my English is not that good, then I'm just going off of what you said. This is why it's so dangerous to have this habit. Now, I'm going to give you the solutions, so don't worry. All right, so instead of this habit, this is what you need to do. Practice not worrying or thinking about what other people think. It's true. Don't worry about other people. Be confident in who you are. Be confident in your speaking abilities. Look, it's okay if you make a mistake. I just made a mistake. Now, when I first started making YouTube videos, I would have cut that mistake out, edited it, and reshot it. But I don't anymore. Why? Because I realized that you, my student watching this video, you don't care if I make a mistake when I'm speaking. You're here to learn information. The same is true for you. People don't care if you make a mistake. They want to listen to you. So don't apologize from the beginning. Instead, practice not worrying and not caring what other people think. Now, along with this is also what I want you to do. Simply say what you want to say and don't worry about mistakes. I get it. I know that you're concerned about sounding unintelligent or sounding like, oh, my English is not that good. I get it. When I was studying Korean, I had the same thoughts. So I understand. I empathize with you. But I want you to practice just speaking. Don't worry about your mistakes. Okay? All right. Now, the fourth habit. This is another habit that you need to stop. Here we go. Criticizing yourself instead of encouraging yourself to move forward. Listen, there are so many things going on in this world today. So many good people, but also so many bad people. And there are going to be people that have negative things to say about you. Don't be one of those people. Don't add to the negative comments by actually saying it about yourself. I want you to practice encouraging yourself. Okay? So again, let me tell you exactly why this is so bad to criticize yourself. You will start to compare yourself to others and think they are better than you. So the more you criticize yourself like, I can't believe I made that mistake. I can't believe I didn't know that word. Don't do that. The more you do that, the more you'll start looking at other people. Man, Sally is better than me. Or man, Michael is really good. How come I can't speak like him? Don't do that. Another reason why this habit is so dangerous is because you will never be satisfied with your own personal achievements. Here's a fact. You are amazing. Do you realize that right now you are learning a second language? And for some of you, a third, a fourth, and a fifth language? English is not your mother tongue, but you speak your mother tongue you speak it like a native. And you're trying to learn my language, and it's your second, third, fourth, or fifth language. So listen, you can be satisfied with where you are. You're doing great. But if you continually criticize yourself, you'll never recognize your milestones or your achievements, okay? So what are the solutions? Here are the habits that I want you to have, okay? Here we go. So first, chart your progress and see the things you have learned. Start to document. Hey, I was trying to learn this new expression, and you know what? 2 days ago, I actually used it in a conversation. Write it down. It's okay to give yourself a pat on the back. It's okay. It's all right. And those around you can cheer you on. You know, I think I mentioned to you guys in the academy, I actually have a private group, a private community, and I want to show it to you guys. But in our community, students are able to talk with each other. I'm trying to find it while I'm talking to you, but they're able to talk to each other. And I love seeing them talk to each other. Let me see if you can see it. You know why? Because they encourage each other. They post videos. They post video clips. Sorry, guys. Video clips and audio files. But again, they are encouraging each other. And I've noticed that they all kind of gain confidence. That's what I'm talking about. You need to chart your progress, see what you've learned, use it, and then encourage yourself and those around you who are doing the same. Okay? All right. And finally, another thing is this right here. Document your achievements and the goals you reach. Very similar to what I just said a moment ago. All right. Now, the fifth habit, very important. Now, this fifth habit, I also want you to stop using subtitles only in your language instead of in English. That's right. Now, subtitles in English, amazing. Very good. But when you use subtitles in your native language, that's not good. You know, I can remember a little extra story time. I can remember when I was first learning Korean. Now, I was level 1. So I was saying things like, 안녕하세요, 만나서 반갑습니다. Like simple things like, how are you? Nice to meet you, or hello. But I was watching Korean dramas and I had no subtitles. So no, I didn't understand everything, but my brain was making connections. But if I had turned on the English subtitles, suddenly my brain would shut off the part that needed connections and I would just start reading in English. So let me show you again why this is so dangerous. There's 2 things that make this habit really bad. If you continue doing this, you will always struggle to really think in English. Remember, one of your goals is to think in English, but you have to challenge yourself. And if you're always looking at subtitles in your native language, you're never going to challenge yourself. All right. The other reason why this habit is not good is because you will struggle to properly express yourself in real life situations. You will always think of expressions in your native language. Now, what are the solutions? Here are the solutions. Let me show you. First, switch to English subtitles and write notes as you watch the program. That's right. As you watch the program, maybe it's difficult, write notes. Hey, I noticed that they use this expression. I wonder what it means, or I wonder how I should use it. Write it down and then continue watching the program. The other thing I want you to do is this right here. Pay attention to the expressions used based on specific emotions. Now, for those of you that follow me on Instagram, I teach a slang term every day and also a vocabulary word. Now, you've learned a lot of slang from me, but the slang that I teach you is connected to an emotion or something. You can tell that I teach it a little bit differently from the videos here on YouTube. So again, let's say, for example, I'm excited, right? Or I'm going somewhere and then I get some really good food. You can already tell that my emotions are changing and that my body language is changing. Now, when something is delicious, I may say, whoo, that food is banging. But maybe you never heard banging before, but you watched my emotions and my expressions and said, wait a minute, Teacher Tiffany is talking about food she really likes. And she kind of got excited and said the food was banging. So does that mean the food was bad or good? Good, right? And probably really good. So you made those connections based on looking at my emotions and listening to the words that I said. That's why it's so important for you to actually use English subtitles and not subtitles in your own language. All right? I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. I hope you remember to stop these 5 habits. I want you to be confident and to believe in yourself. If you want to watch part 2 of this episode of this lesson, all you have to do is click the link in the description and you can get part 2, and you can also get the PDF that goes along with this lesson. All right, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next week. But as always, remember to speak English. Oh yeah, it's story time. I said it's story time. All right. Today we have a good story time. It's going to be a little shorter, but it's going to tell you a little bit more about how I was when I was younger. So, when I was in school, I was very studious, meaning I liked to study. I got good grades and I loved school. But I was also a very happy, playful, and talkative child. So whenever I'd get my report cards, my mom and my dad would look at our report cards. My sister and my mom would look at my report card and she'd see all A's. And then she'd get to the comment section and the teacher would always write, "We really enjoy having Tiffany in class. She's really smart, but she talks all the time in class." Now, my sister and I would get the same comments. Teachers loved us. We studied hard. We got our work done. We got good grades, but we loved to talk. So let me tell you about one situation related to me being talkative. So this is when I think I was in 6th grade or 7th grade. And we were in class, and I think our teacher was having a stressful day. But, my friends and I, we wanted to talk. We had finished our work, so we were just yapping. Yapping means talking. We were just yapping and having a good time, laughing and joking. And our teacher said, "I told you guys to be quiet." Now, we were never disrespectful. So we kind of looked at her and said, "Yes, ma'am." And then 2 minutes later, just talking and laughing. I mean, we were kids. So she said, "Okay, you have no recess." So recess is that period of time in the day when children go outside and they play, like after lunch. And recess was, everyone wanted to go to recess. So when she said we had no recess, we were kind of a little upset, but we said, okay. Now, there were about 25 students in our class. And I think there were about 2 or 3 students that were always good. I mean, always good. They never got in trouble ever. So throughout the course of the day, so my friend and I, we got in trouble, so we didn't have recess. Then 3 other people got in trouble and they didn't have recess. Then 5 other people, then 2 other people. So by the time lunch came around, I think about 15 people didn't have any recess. So the girls that were actually really good and always acted good in class, they were like, "Guys, come on. We don't want to lose our recess." So the teacher said, "Okay, if you guys don't stop talking, you're all losing recess." So long story short for that part, 22 people lost their recess. I don't know what was happening that day. We were just in a good mood. We were laughing and joking. By the time 20 of us had lost our recess, we really didn't care because we were all going to be together. Now, when I was younger, so when you are outside and you park your car, there are lines, right, for a parking space. And our teacher would say you have to stand on the line where you have a parking space. So if you got in trouble, you had to stand on the line during recess and you couldn't play. So we got to recess and there were about 22 of us were in trouble. So 22 of us were standing on the line. You have 22 kids standing on the line all together. Do you really think we're going to be quiet? No. So we're all like, well, we're on the line. Now, let me ask you a question. Where do you think those 3 girls were? The ones that were always good. Do you think they were running around playing? No. Now, 22 of us got in trouble, but the 3 girls were standing at the line waiting for us because they had nobody to play with. So we're standing on the line, all 22 of us, laughing, joking. We said, well, we can't play, but we can talk. So our teacher was just sitting. She was sitting there looking at us outside. She said, I just can't take it. Everybody go play. So we all started laughing and we just ran and went to play. Now, the thing is, our teacher really loved us. And actually, to this day, I love her so much. She was an amazing teacher. And she always told us that we were her favorite class. And to this day, she says that we were her favorite class. So the situation, even though we were laughing and joking and talking, we weren't bad kids and we weren't disrespectful. So I think she was laughing inside too, as she saw the other 3 little girls. When are they going to get off the line, teacher? So I never forgot that. So yeah, if you guys have any stories from when you were younger, were you talkative? Were you quiet? Did you ever get in trouble when you were younger? Let me know in the comment section. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this story time, and I'll see you next week.